Tap tap.
Hey everybody, we're back from break. Or
Hello,
Dungeon
everyone.
Of the Mad
I'm
Mage.
still here.
Just a little lift up of the paw, and there he's
No
gone.
tap taps. No sir.
Only tap tap.
I
the
love
Lord
you.
of Tap.
Stop it. You greedy little
Tap him.
shit.
Vigorously.
You have been loved. You have been loved
Not
a great
enough.
deal.
Not
You
enough.
keep using the past tense form. Like,
Stop. Get out of here.
he's just like,
Please, sir, can I have some more? Go.
What are you looking at? Don't look at me like that. Okay. He's laying
he's
down.
like, how does he know?
Laying down. Fucking gotta use technology to avoid my cat. Alright. So you find yourselves in the yawning portal, big crowds around you. A round is purchased by someone amidst the crowd for the entire bar, a celebration of your return, right? And what do you want to do?
First of all, do we have anything that we want to pawn off to Obaya?
Oh, hey. I'm sorry.
No,
I'll say
that's it.
after this.
End of thought.
I don't know if we do. Do we? Do we have any? We
I
didn't
know.
have magic
I have
items, right?
The vial of smoke, but I feel like that might be a useful.
Yeah, that'd probably be pretty useful for like ambushing some motherfuckers.
Or running away from some motherfuckers. Use it as like
doesn't
a
it take a little
flashbang.
while for it to like all come out?
I don't remember.
Pretty
I would
quick.
assume like an action's worth of time, like 6 seconds.
Yeah.
I would have given you a full description of what it does, so go ahead and look it up.
It's like
Yeah.
a
Bottle of
bottle of
everlasting
everlasting smoke. Yeah.
Bottle. Oh, it's not in the SRD.
Everlasting boke.
We can find it elsewhere.
Boke.
I said what I said, and I meant it.
Ever smoking
Cocaine.
bottle
Ask
is
me
what
again,
it's
and
called.
I'll tell you the same.
I bet that's in the. Yep, ever smoking's bottle. A cloud of thick smoke pours out in a 60-foot radius
That is a
as an
big-ass
action. So it's
radius.
like
Big,
boom, 60 feet of smoke.
60 feet.
So could be pretty useful in a number of situations, actually. Just depends on what you guys want to use it for, or if you forget that it exists.
Likely.
We'll see.
Okay. Yeah, I think we should probably hold on to it.
Okay, sure. All right. Well, is there anything keeping you guys here, or are you heading onwards?
I would like to look for the woman whose husband we were supposed to find.
Oh shit!
The woman whose brother you were supposed to find.
Yes,
But
the woman whose male adjacent person we were supposed to find.
But I give you kudos for at least remembering. Okay.
I remember a woman asked us to find a man, and we did. Ish.
Gotcha.
I seek her out. Lady something or other.
Okay. The bar is actually pretty packed. It does take you a little bit of time. Kind of like asking around to see if so-and-so is here. Because you're not quite sure initially. And then eventually you get the right name and you talk to a couple of different individuals and you are directed over to a far corner on the second floor where Lady Ezvale Rosnar can be found. And actually, as you kind of like walk up, she's talking to this, there's this big burly man. Barely, he's got kind of like a, just this dragon scale hauberk kind of like over his chest. and almost nothing else, right? He's got like pantaloons on, but like nothing else is like sleeves or anything like that, right?
That's quite odd.
And he's just ass of muscle, immense man, maybe like 7 feet tall, rippling. And she full on in his face, like just in his face, is yelling at him in this tone of like just disappointment, on one hand, right? And two, just like she's not gonna brook any of his shit, right? Like she makes it very clear in what she's saying. She makes it very clear that he bungled a job, and that's his fault. That's on him. And the deal was for this, so you're not getting paid. And he's all like big, sullen, kind of like, that's not. And then she kind of like, she's so fierce in how she handles him that he, by the end of the exchange, you witness this whole thing. By the end of the exchange, he's just kind of like, okay.
Damn, rest in peace, my dude.
And he she ends up like paying him for what he did, right? As far as you can like ascertain from the conversation. But it was clear that whatever job she had for him, he failed. So and he was trying to get some sort of recompense. Anyways, he leaves after a few moments, and you find her sitting there alone. She's a beautiful, dark-skinned woman. She does have like a hood up, not trying to draw a whole lot of attention. But you've heard multiple descriptions of her at this point and gotten her name, Ezvale Rosnar. So, what do you want to do?
I approach her.
Okay.
Say, hey.
Hello.
What's up?
She kind of like acknowledges you, and as she does so, she looks you up and down in like 3 quick glances, fully like initially like judging whether or not you're dangerous, then assessing anything that she can kind of like assume about you, and then the third one is legitimately fully appraising you. And I do
that highly arousing.
I do mean that tone, right? Like she goes from like one each like sweep is for a different reason, and you feel almost like instinctively that each pass that she does on you, she finds the information that she wants out of it. And
I like it that way.
And she says, "Have a seat. Seems like you need to talk."
I have a seat.
She says, "I feel like I recognize you, but I'm not sure why. You seem pretty striking. I can't imagine I would forget you for any real reason."
I am extremely handsome. Thank you for noticing.
She kind of smiles at your, appraisal of yourself, but she doesn't argue.
You hired us to find your brother.
Ah, one of the many bands that I appraised of that situation.
Yep.
Do tell me that you've come with better news than all of the others. They continue to pawn this, that, or the other off on me in the attempt to gain reward.
Oh, no, yeah, we found him.
Kind of leans back in her chair just a little bit. Judging by the fact that he's not with you at the moment, I assume that means ill.
Oh, hey, sis. How are you?
Look, I pulled the ring out of my
Wow.
bag. I don't want the full hand, just the
That's
ring.
fucked
Okay.
up.
And I set it on the table.
You see emotion kind of like flicker across her face, like she draws in a deep breath and she closes her eyes for a brief moment and she sighs and then she nods and she says, "I suppose it's to be expected. He didn't have the best head on his shoulders. At least, can you tell me whether or not he embarrassed himself before the end?"
Embarrassed.
Does his name still besmirch my family's honor?
No, I don't think the Legion much cared about his name.
Kind of grimaces and nods. And you're sure? You have confirmation?
Yeah, we're sure. I mean, I have the rest of his hand if you want that, but I didn't figure you did.
Kind of like shakes her head. Not necessary. Thank you, though. She seems conflicted for a moment, and because the way she speaks about her brother, you know that she doesn't have a high opinion of him morally, right? So you see she's kind of like wrestling with something, and then she says, and she's got kind of like these thick dark curls, and she kind of like she puts her head in her hands and tilts it just slightly so that like her whole face just gets covered in these curls for a moment. And then she comes out of it and she sighs and she says, Does he need to be avenged? Or was it just?
Oh.
It was pretty just. I mean, I can tell you if you really want to know.
She
I
raises
don't
a
know that
hand and
you
she
wanna
says,
know.
I already suspect. And your words are enough for me to affirm those suspicions. She says, I had hoped that my brother would prove me wrong. It is unfortunate that he did not. However, that is neither here nor there. You have done me a service. I have no real coin on me at the moment. She kind of like pats herself down and then reaches into a hood, and you see the way her hands move, right? They're kind of a blur of motion. Like you watch her pat, and then pat, but as she does, right, she only pats 4 times, but you, with your passive perception of 18, you see her hand move to 7 or 8 different places in those 4 pats. Okay?
That's interesting.
And then she kind of like moves a hand out of your sight for a moment, and then produces a small bag of coin. And she kind of like lays it on the table and scooches it over towards you. She says, all that I have at the moment, but know that you own the favor of House Rosnar now. That is worth something. At least
Fair
I
enough.
aim to make it so.
I mean, it sounds good to me. Sure. What's my assessment of how she moves? With those
Roll an
hands.
insight check for me.
I like the way she moves.
24.
She moves like you do. She is
Like us.
she is incredibly deft of hand.
Trinity,
And if she does not have some skill as a cut purse or pickpocket or thief of some sort, you would be incredibly surprised.
Interesting.
Not the typical skill set of your average noble.
I speak to her in a very roundabout way,
Okay,
aka
sure.
thieves can't.
So you're making kind of like in the aftermath of this, right? Like you pull the coin across and you kind of like make a few banding words of small talk, right? And nested in those words and the gestures that you make are signs and phrases that make up Thieves' Cant. And for anyone else, it would just be small talk and normal actions. There's immediately recognition that she is unable to mask that flits into her eyes because you're specifically looking for it, right? You're baiting her.
I am baiting her,
and
yes.
she's not prepared for it necessarily. So you see that she recognizes it and she stiffens for a moment, realizing that she kind of like let on.
Mm-hmm.
And then she just kind of sighs and she says, "All right, fine. You have the favor of House Rosnar, and I can back it up if need be."
Rogue life.
I smile and I get up. I give her a wink. I say, "See you later."
Okay. He is probably impressed by that interaction. The coin purse, by the way, has 100 gold in it.
Hell yeah.
Just a small coin purse for her. She honestly did not have much on her, or as she is. But it's what she had, so it's what she gave you. Also, for completing the quest, the search for Crescendo Rosnar, everyone gains 750 experience points.
Oh, damn.
Nice.
Oh, I'll 750.
You also all gain a tick for the Lord's Alliance, but if it's not something that you're already tracking, don't worry about it. It's something that I track in the background. If it is something that you are tracking, go ahead and tick that up.
Right. Nope.
What should we be at, Jacob?
2375.
2, 3. I have a 4.
Yeah, no, that number won't change for a while. 42, 375. I just gave you the last 4 numbers.
How much
2,
experience?
3, 5. Okay.
750.
What? 750.
Are you going to put that in the
Sure, I can.
20? I mean, you do it for everything else, so I'm a man of routine.
I don't want to type out this. Quest. Search for Crescendo Rosnar. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-boo. Nice. Alright. So Bones has found Ezvale Rosnar, delivered the news of her brother's demise along with his signet ring, received payment, impressed Ezvale, and ended with that. Gained a little bit of information. So, anything else happening in the Yawning Portal? By the way,
Honestly, I
are
wouldn't
you
mind getting
still
this dude in a
weakened
cod.
at burning the unconscious
Oh, no,
comatose man?
I'm not. I'm like trying to be as inconspicuous as possible. Like I was speaking with Durnan, but after that, I'm just trying to, get back to the Troll Skull Manor to get this dude on a cot or something.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
Ezra would be following suit.
Okay. So Ezra and Ashes are kind of like hanging near the entrance, ready to go, while Bones finishes his business. Anything happening with Matashtai? Doesn't have to be.
I don't think so. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Okay. Well, that just means after the short amount of investigation that Bones goes through and the conversation that he has with Ezvale, probably about 20 minutes after you guys come up, you have a round, right? A celebratory round. You talk to Durnan. Bones finds Ezvale, has a conversation, and then you guys are out. And it is cold. It is icy cold, and there is a howling wind, and it feels like every street, every alleyway that you end up going down, right, just ends up being this wind tunnel, this for this icy cold wind that is rolling across Waterdeep.
Put on my winter gear.
You should stop in the street, put on my winter
yet to
gear.
take mine off. Like,
sure.
I have a ring of warmth on, so I think I'm fine.
Yep, you're good. It's you're warm, but your skin still feels prickly, right? It's like being in air conditioning.
Fuck air conditioning, dude, honestly. Fuck moving air.
That's why I said it to you, is because I know your opinion.
Moving air is the devil.
Moving air is the devil.
I require moving air. Fans are always going.
You require death.
Death.
I don't think I've ever noticed this about you before. I didn't know you had a thing with air. Moving.
Only moving air.
Air.
Moving air is the devil.
Moving air is air?
Okay. So this one's also probably pretty quiet.
Oh.
All right. I'm assuming you guys are hailing a carriage to take you up. You're not walking all the way through the howling wind and
Correct.
everything all the way up to the north.
I don't walk places. I have money.
Okay. So someone tossed the 2 shards for the carriage. It is the carriage driver, right, is kind of like rosy cheeks, and he's all bundled up. He takes your coin and he smiles and he's like, "All right, up in the back." And he's nice about it, but it's clear that he's cold and he's kind of like short with you, and he's just like, "Come on, let's go. Let's not lollygag around." And he's kind of like whenever he stops, his teeth kind of chatter a little bit, right? And there's not much traffic out on the streets. It's late at night, but it's also it's cold. The city is settling down into kind of this winter atmosphere. It's not to the point to where snow is always present, but there's little bundles of it here, little like flurries of it here or there. Even on a night like tonight where it hasn't actually snowed during the day, there are still portions where it's staying cold enough, especially in the shaded nooks and crannies of Waterdeep, where no sunlight particularly hits a location, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the city itself is kind of like settling into this winter mindset. You guys make your way up to the North Ward by carriage, back to Lifted Spirits, back to Troll Skull Alley. With a comatose half-elf in tow.
Some bro.
Yeah.
All right, I'll just go ahead and take him upstairs, and I am assuming if we have like a spare cot or
Assuming you guys have like
a lounge
couches
area.
or like a some sheets
Yeah.
or something or
that type of stuff, right? Yeah.
Oh,
Sure.
There's like a lounge area, a common area. up
Anna
there.
Wing, Cine sends Anna Wing up to kind of like assist you, brings up water and like towels and stuff like that, like warm water to like do compresses and things like that,
Right.
just to try to like see what's wrong and assist in any way that they can. Is anything else happening, right?
I would ask if there's anything to report from Cine.
Cine doesn't have anything terribly important of note, right? There was a little bit of a backlash from the North Ward residents, nearby residents, because of being open
That day, yep.
Yep, on the Piece of the Moon. But it's not like anyone has really started anything. and the staff has been trying to be cautious about things ever since Ashes was poisoned. They're a little concerned, a little on edge. So,
reasonably.
I would probably say let's get our tankard of ale in storage.
Cine,
Go ahead and
Cine will kind of like, oh, great. It's actually been a very popular item since we started letting you know. As things are going right now, we're probably gonna go through about a barrel of it every week.
next time we're down, hopefully we won't have as many people with us next time, so that'll translate into multiple barrels. Hopefully,
can never tell.
I think we should start bringing mules down.
Bro, I'm down.
I mean,
we
might not have to bring like mules down, but you guys could absolutely make like a concerted. Okay, this day we're just funneling barrels. You know,
make it a barrel day. I mean, if we're gonna like kill some time before we go back to Skullport, we can absolutely make a beer run.
Sure.
I mean, I don't serve a whole lot of purpose in a effort like that, so I could be doing some research.
You could be guiding the mules.
Or making sure your party doesn't die.
Me and animals don't really,
Half of your party are animals.
They're trained. What do you mean, you and animals?
And how often do I get close to Ashes?
I don't know, pretty often. More often than not.
More often now than you used to.
He hasn't hit me in a while.
I've been doing better.
I mean, one hit takes like half my hit points, so...
Yeah.
It's not deliberate.
All right. So Cine just lets you know that they take the barrel, store it. Great, fantastic. It's late. Is there anything?
In theory, our storage area.
Yep.
What could we house potentially if we were?
That's a good question.
And you don't need to give an exact answer right now, but
the larger, assuming that you were staying in stock of everything else that you need to be in stock of,
concerted effort.
You could probably only, without causing issues, you could probably only hold like 15 barrels.
Okay, so a little more than a dozen. Okay.
Yeah, without it causing pretty big space issues, basically.
That's still a lot of fucking ale.
Yeah,
I would like to
absolutely.
Get my winter clothes back on, kind of walk around backside and check on Ochotu, see how he's doing.
Sure. So Ochotu's out in his kind of like hut work area, which you see has come along a little bit. It's only been 2 days since you guys last left him, but he hails you as you approach, right? He kind of like hears you coming, and just kind of inquires and realizes that you're just checking on him, right? And kind of like,
just making sure that he's got everything he needs. And
he's a lizard folk, so he's kind of quizzical about it, right? Sure. He's like, you show concern for me. That seems ill-advised.
Well, I mean, I feel somewhat responsible, seeing as it would feel...
But I am not a hatchling. How would you be responsible for me?
I mean, we're the one that, kind of got you out of the dungeon and just kind of...
My mind is sound. My limbs fit. I am my own responsibility.
All right. Well, I'm good. I'm glad that makes me happy.
You see his kind of like he looks at you and he kind of like grimaces, And he grits his teeth and he says, and he kind of like lets out this rush of air that comes out kind of like as cold breath, right?
Yeah.
And he sighs and he says, Marigold would be cross with me. I am supposed to work on feelings.
Well,
your concern is good. Your concern is thanks.
Good. All right, well then, just I'll leave you to it, and you know where to find us if you need anything.
He ducks his head.
You have a good night.
And like immediately like okay, conversation's over. He like doesn't wait for you to like even say anything else. He just like full turns and heads back into his tent.
And the second I'm out of
his tent, his like
stupid.
It's more like a wigwam type scenario, right? Okay,
Yep.
cool.
After our conversation with Sine and Ash's beelines to the backyard, I beeline to the study to check in with Zeltzer.
Okay, you come in and you find the pseudo dragon laying on its back, splayed out on the table, and it's got this little mound of a belly, and it's just snoring. It's just
It ate the books.
I use Mage Hand from a distance and poke the belly.
it startles and kind of like deflates and comes up, and you can see right like as it flips, a couple of plates go scattered across the floor, and there you realize there are plates on the table next to it. Apparently someone has been eating Zeltzor. But the pseudo dragon, like after being startled, like recognizes you and comes up, and it flits over to your shoulder and lands on it and chirps in your ear, and it's kind of weighty, right? It has gorged itself to where it's like double the weight of what it previously was, but it's a pseudo dragon. It's a dragon, so it's just gonna like immediately get rid of that the next day. So it's kind of whatever.
Maybe we need to put you on a little bit of a diet.
It's all, and it's like immediately it's just like no, food good, food good, no.
Good.
Yeah, you want to see what we found? I pull out the. I walk towards the table and I pull out the cracked spyglass.
Okay. So it kind of flops down. Zeltzor kind of like flops down, and what is it? And he kind of like looks in, and it does the like look through the wrong end, and you can see like the big magnified eye, etc. You know, that whole thing.
I explain what it is intended for, that this one is damaged, and I intend to repair it.
Gotcha.
And after we have that conversation, I begin casting Mending.
Okay, great. So I think probably with something as delicate as like a spyglass, I think mending, as long as the components are still there, right? I think mending will work absolutely. I just think for something like mending, I would say that it takes longer than just the 1 minute cast.
Well, it probably is a couple of different smaller tears.
Exactly. So you might spend like the next like 30 minutes to an hour just like mending this portion, mending that portion here or there, inspecting it, spending time with Zeltzor, telling him about your adventures, etc. And the pseudo dragon is attentive mostly, is super interested in everything initially, and then like halfway through the process of you fixing the thing, it's still in food coma mode, so it like goes back into like
It's fucking drunk Mitch.
Right.
Damn, sleep boy.
Yeah, it's great.
It's fucking
I love it.
drunk Mitch.
Okay. Cool.
Love it.
Anybody else? Anything? We good?
I go sleep.
Go sleep. It's been a long day. You guys have... Woof. You've done a lot.
We did have a pretty big day.
So I'm able to
Awesome.
fully repair and have a true spyglass?
Yep. At the end, you were able to fully repair the spyglass. Absolutely.
Nice. Now we can look at things from a distance.
Absolutely.
Or sell it for like $1,000 or whatever.
Well, it would sell for potentially half the value.
Okay.
All listed goods, mundane goods sell for approximately half the value, depending on.
I was just trying to
Depending on your
remember if you told
location,
us
yeah.
it would sell for $250 or if it was worth $250. I was just trying to recall that conversation, but yeah, that tracks.
Yeah.
That tracks.
Get you.
So $1,000.
All right, I'm done petting you. Quit that. Okay,
Packing.
so sleepiness happens. You guys bed
Yes,
down.
Yay, I have
You-
things back.
You long rest. Everyone gains the benefits of a long rest. You refill half of your hit die,
Sleep.
etc., etc. And you find yourselves awakened on the morrow to kind of like a little mini blizzard, basically. There's a pretty big like snow flurry going on throughout the first half of the day. Basically, obviously, like you guys can still do things, so this might be information in advance. And then the snow kind of like lets up towards the mid-afternoon. Anyways.
I was able to drop the barrel of Malarkin ale off, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay. Hey, what are these Teresa's silk robes in my inventory?
Yes, what about them?
Were they were magic, right? Oh yeah, I was gonna use them for something. What the fuck was I gonna use those for?
I don't know.
What are they? They're just like +1s, right?
There are +1s. You guys identified those, right?
Yeah, and then
They're-
we decided they weren't worth shit.
They're +1s, but they have the downside that if they are exposed to sunlight for too long,
Yeah,
the
that
enchantment
was it.
destroys.
Yeah, that was it.
That
Ugh. The downside of having a cat and petting a cat. My drinks end up filling with cat hair. I drink cat hair on a daily basis.
Disgusting.
Oh.
Ugh.
Well, maybe
Fiber.
if you drink enough, you'll build up an immunity to tap taps.
Excuse you?
I positioned my candles around
No,
my room.
sir. I put you down. You are done for now. Negatory.
Yeah, he put him down.
Negatory.
Wow.
we
There
do
are
something
incoming
like
tap.
that?
There are incoming tap taps.
Don't you do it.
Oh,
Yours is a life of tap now.
I love how your like immediate response to being tap tap is just like a big old face palm to the cat. Just brack.
Wait, nope.
Just a bonk.
All right. It is the morning of the 8th. Oh shit. I had to check my stuff. Okay, so
That's concerning.
you're all you all have these morning routines, right? When it's scenarios where you know you're not going down in the dungeon today, etc., etc. So you all kind of like have this morning routine where you get up at various stages, but you all meet down in the lifted spirits and break your fast together, kind of discuss things, maybe make out plans for the day, etc., right? So you're down there. The bar, the tavern is open, but it doesn't have very many patrons this early in the morning, right?
Okay.
Everything's kind of like fired up. Guillaume has served you breakfast, and you guys are kind of like beginning to discuss things Does anyone have anything they want to talk about initially?
Yes.
Like not does anyone want to go through plans for the day? I'm asking, while you four are sitting here, is there anything you four want to talk about with each other for now?
No.
I mean, I would like to know if our comatose friend woke up at any point.
He did not.
He's dead.
Will never live again.
Do not
Every
look under his cloak to
you
see if
find
he died right now.
there are 5 others that you don't.
Well, he is alive. We checked that. We confirmed he is alive, at least physically.
Yes.
Whether or not the mental capacity is there. I did check to see if he was lobotomized. I did that.
Yes. Yes. That is.
So the
correct.
thing is, we have no idea how long he was unconscious before we found him. But when he is in our care, he has now been out for like
30-ish hours.
Like it's something
super
something is
well,
wrong.
Well, Bones saw this man previously.
Yep.
Bones saw this man when you guys were fighting House Ovrindar in the temple complex. And that was days ago.
Oh shit!
And he was comatose then.
What if?
Yep.
What if he's? Uh-oh. We might need to get him out of our house.
Why?
Because I've got a feeling that one night he's going to alien-style chest birth like a bajillion giant spider babies.
Well, don't we know like 18 clerics? Matt's best friends with a whole sect of them. There's one in the freaking tavern.
I'm just saying, if the drow had something to do with this, there's a reason he's not waking up.
You didn't take him past Abaya when we were...
I didn't check.
Kind of in a rush to just get home, get out.
Either we take him to Matt's church, or potentially find Abaya.
Like,
They're the most trained to handle this.
push on his like abdomen in places to see if there's like any weird
Bulges.
lumps that might be, like,
You see things
like
squirming
spider
underneath.
egg sacs.
Ooh.
Weird. That's weird, bro.
Disgusting.
Bruh. I have nothing to.
I mean, I'm just trying to
discuss
figure
with
out what
anyone.
to prioritize while we're up here. I've got a couple of things I can look into, but I want some.
So you guys are kind of like chatting about this over while breaking your
I don't
fast.
really
Right?
have a lot to do until Howldown.
I mean, we were joking about it, but do
You
we
hear a
want to do it?
voice from behind you, deep, rough. You hear, Camus Valron, you're a hard man to find.
I sigh. You found me. I'm fucking with you. I don't know who that is.
I
Oh
and
damn!
knowing
Oh
that
damn!
not very many people know that name.
Well played, Zach.
Who do I see?
You see standing in the doorway to the lifted spirits, a broad-shouldered, well-built man, pleasant-featured, dark hair, kind of like a dark, overshadowed look to his face. His brows kind of like furrowed, and he kind of like has this wry grin on his face. He's got the demeanor of a man who you wouldn't want to meet in a back alley, right? But if you were talking to him across from a bar and sharing a drink, he's got that pleasant concept of like, This guy's all right. You know, you see Borden Brooks
You
standing in the
son
doorway.
of a bitch! I'll stand up immediately and
Man.
clasp his forearm.
Absolutely. He like grabs your forearm, pulls you in, gives you this big like two slaps on the back, and suddenly you remember the big bear of a man that he's kind of is, right? And he's about your size. You're both kind of like of equal size. You're actually probably a little larger, but Borden has always had this larger than life-esque feel within your mind. So even though I think you're probably several inches taller than him at this point, he still has this kind of like big impact in your mind, and he has this wry grin on his face, and he says, "Took me a couple days to track you down once I made it into the city. I've been hearing some interesting tales."
Yeah, I'm not keeping as low as a profile as I thought I'd be while I was here. Apparently, I'm partial owner of this tavern.
It surprises me that you ever thought you'd actually be laying low. Come, introduce me to your friends before it gets awkward.
Right.
Already is.
Anyways, guys, this is Borden. He's a part of the order. He is basically my recruiter.
Basically,
definitely 100%. Pulled me off the streets of El Terrell himself.
You see Ezra take a step or two away from him.
Oh, he sees Ezra kind of like do this kind of like backward motion, this kind of like timid scenario, and he goes, "Ashes, you haven't been keeping as good a control as you should be."
I walk forward with a hand up. The name's Matt.
Takes your hand, big, strong handshake, like 2 pumps. Looks you dead in the eyes and says, "Good to meet you, Matt. Borden."
I'm Ezra.
He gives you kind of like this nod and this warm smile. He says, "It's nice to meet you too, Ezra. Sorry if my recruit's been a pain."
More help than hurt. Mostly.
I'll take it.
That's what we aim for.
More help than hurt.
He kind of like, he looks around, he says, wouldn't happen to, he kind of like pats his stomach a little bit, and says, "Wouldn't happen to be a place to get some grub around here?"
Oh, absolutely. Hey, Cine, could you get something for
Cine is already on it, gets Guillaume to dish up a plate, and Borden takes a seat at the bar with the rest of you. Says, "You all look like you've got quite a bit going on. You have the faces of men in the midst of things. Don't let me distract you if you have
right now."
Well, it's interesting. When we all came to the city, we basically found ourselves doing jobs for different groups, but we've kind of been put together as a team to investigate under the city.
Ah, interesting. I remember my younger years. Teaming up. Strangers, forging friendships. These times mean something. Hold on to them.
Absolutely.
Just make sure you live to remember them.
Our time here.
Actually, you caught us at an interesting time. We've got a little bit of, I guess you'd call downtime before we're going to pick back up and head under the city. I didn't ask. Were you like? Did you need me for something? Were you looking me out?
Oh, well, actually, I'm in Waterdeep on business.
Oh,
I figured I'd, well, I got some reports about your whereabouts on my way here. Figured I'd look you up before I set about my business.
Yeah, it's here
You
to
mentioned,
exterminate a rogue werewolf.
You mentioned...
Named Ashes.
Oh, shit. You mentioned under the city once or twice there. That's actually where my business takes me.
well, hopefully we did a good enough job of clearing in most of it out, so you don't have a whole lot of trouble.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about it too terribly much. Simple stuff, really. Just, you know, me, not much for field work, but Raywin says I'm going soft and that I need the action. And who knows, maybe she's right. Never can tell these days.
Can't remember a time when she was ever wrong.
Nobody's infallible, Ashes.
Right. So,
He says, look, there's...
Before you left the wood, was everything going well? How's things at the orders? Same old, same old?
There's been some, been a lot of activity of late. Been some problems. We lost a couple of good agents in the Snakewood, north of Om.
Yeah.
It's got snake in the name. Probably shouldn't
Giles.
I can't remember a time when we've ever
go there.
lost
Be honest.
a few agents at once.
Where's
is it
snakes?
bad?
It's handled. It's taken care of. But, we're stretched thin. Times are tough. Everything that each of us does is important. Everything that each of us does has to matter. At least that's
Right.
what Raywin tells me these days. Truth be told, I just go where she says and do what she says.
Yeah.
Speaking of, can you tell us about what your quarry is down below?
Oh, nothing too
Is
extreme.
that something that you guys talk about? I don't want to step on boundaries or
Not with untrustworthy company, but your
you
Ashes
see, Ezra kind of lean back
compatriots.
a little.
A simple matter. Just a couple of werebats causing some problems.
Oh.
Where bats?
Kind of gives you this solemn nod.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are there are many.
Oh, we lost someone.
Zibrok!
We lost a Zach.
Who's
Zechariah!
screaming on?
Oh no.
I want everybody.
Nope, that's not fixed. I need to do like a session with you guys again, like a night session
Just
where I'm like,
drop it
you
down.
leave, and now you come back, and now you leave, and now you come back. It's a rinse and
So you
repeat.
can fix this on the fly.
Yeah, so that I can
Uh.
reset, because it's been a long time since we've actually, like, aside from I think Mitch is the only person that we've had have to be like out recently.
A late session, yeah.
Yeah. So the layouts are not up to date for Zach, Jay, or Jake out scenarios. We'll need to do that one of these days.
How was Bagul, by the way?
He's fine. He He was there. He was in the Snakewood. I don't know the particulars about what went down, but he survived. He's fine.
Good. That's real good. Right. Good.
I don't want you to look. My intent here wasn't to weigh upon your thoughts. You're still in your travels. Raywin has not commissioned your return. You are still to continue learning and gaining experience.
And I feel like I'm doing that. Much
Good.
like how Magul used to teach me. I'm learning a lot of things mostly the hard way, which is fine.
And smiles and he says, "Honestly,
Just
I
throwing
think
out
that's for
names
most of
now.
us."
Oh, by the way, if you see him anytime soon, if you ever head back, I'll take my sword and I'll cover it in frost using my right to cover it in frost to show. Borden would know that I had the Rite of Storm.
Yeah.
And that's all I had. So him seeing me use a different rite would be new to him, as well as Bagul if he ever went back.
He kind of grins at you wryly and he goes, "Ah, you are learning.
I mean,
Your magic friend over there teach you that trick?"
Yes, I did.
yeah. Not the kind of magic, not the same kind of magic. That guy can take an entire horde of people and just rend them useless in battle. It's amazing.
I sure can do that.
I can't remember
Borden
what the
kinda
spell called. Something about like loopy pictures or hypno waves.
Borden kind of
Something
like grins
Ashes.
at you wryly.
I
and
stabbed
says,
them with a dagger, Ashes. I don't know how you forgot that.
He says, he kind of like suddenly gets this solemn look on his face, right? And he says, "I always used to poke fun at people who would say it, but these really are some of the best times in your life. Hold on to them. Hold on to your allies." And then he doesn't look at any of you, right? He kind of like he kind of leans back and he kind of like looks up at the ceiling and he says, "And if they prove to not be allies,
Gulp.
Well, as long as you're in the city, know that you are welcome here."
He says, "I appreciate that, but I've spent enough days trying to track you down. Today I head into Undermountain, and hopefully, within a few days' time, I'll have dealt with my little bat problem. I'll be about my business."
For like, I'm not gonna like play this out, but for like while he's finishing eating, I would be willing to
Sure,
like,
just like
pretty much tell him like, all right, this is what it's like how far down you going? Just in the first floor. This is what I know about the first floor. This is what's here. This is what's here. If there's a trap here, whatever, you know.
So,
kind of.
so yeah, he gets into it, right? Like he kind of like grills you for information. Like it turns into the like taking notes section where you both have your little booklets out and he's jotting everything down. And
I'll show my little black book too, the things I killed.
It becomes pretty apparent to you. Borden's going down farther than any of you have so far.
Oh, once he starts talking once we started going past floor 3, I'm like,
And he kind of nods to it and he says,
I will at least,
are you gonna
based on
aid?
what I started doing, try and ascertain.
Sure. Okay. Roll me an investigation.
Yes, sir. Pretty sure I cooked it.
That is a natural 20, a 26. Very nice. Very, very, very nice. Holy shit. Yeah, it does not take you long via the descriptions that Borden gives of his quarry and what he has been told about them for you to, and now it's not guaranteed, but it's what makes sense, right? Is that it is likely Borden is heading to the Willowwood.
Okay. And based off of his information, can I deduce whether that is the 5th or 6th floor?
I would say with your 26, we can go ahead and say that you do deduce that to be the 5th floor. Let me confirm that real quick. I'm pretty sure that that is correct. Yes. Yeah. So
Also,
another little piece of the puzzle falls into place.
I will also tell him on the first floor about our encounters with Artor. I know we're not really supposed to mention him by name.
You begin to kind of talk about it, and of course, right, like Borden's hackles kind of immediately raise, and he kind of bristles out, and it's almost like instinctually, like you see him respond. You let a vampire live, and before you can respond, right, he backs off and he says, "Of course, you had your reasons. I understand. This creature, as far as you know, it makes no trouble."
So far, it's actually seemed to try to go out of its way to be amicable. It's not something I've ever experienced from their ilk.
It's old. Likely a resident of the city. Something known. Otherwise, it would have fed, it would have tried something. It would have been hunted.
Also, don't go using his name topside. Seems to be some
Right now, following Raywin's orders are all I have a real interest in. I'd rather be back in my home. I'd rather be back in Elturel recruiting. So, maybe it's best I'm out of the city. Been some strange going-ons of late. Odd rumors in the air. Perhaps it's best I'm vacationing.
That's one hell of a way to look at going 4 or 5 floors deep into the Undermountain, but I mean, what can you do?
When Raywin gives you a quarry, well, you put nose to ground and you follow it.
Right. All right, well, I'm not going to hold you up. If you need me, know where to find me.
So you guys kind of finish your discussion, you finish the meal. He gets up and say this to him, and he reaches out, you clasp forearms again, and he gives you another big, pull in and pat on the back. And as he does this, he whispers in your ear. He says, I hope you've learned by now that everything the Order has taught you isn't always the truth. Make your own decisions, Acid. Be your own person.
I'll just silently nod, make eye contact.
And he pulls back, claps you on the shoulder once more. He says, hate to eat and run, but it's been nice meeting you all.
It was a pleasure.
Pleasure meeting you too.
Hey, don't
Good
kill
luck
my
in
skull
your-
takers.
Gold takers.
Just saying. Yeah.
I would have explained while we were going over the levels that there.
Gotcha. He says,
Yeah.
right, them. No worries. I have no interest in their kind, and I'll make sure they have no interest in me.
Maybe we'll meet you down there. Eventually.
Could be interesting. And as he says that, right, he says, could be interesting, and he smiles at Ashes. And almost like in a quick instance, right, like he looks past Ashes as you, Ezra, and his eyes glitter darkly, and he grins, and you see his elongated canines as he looks at you. That would be interesting.
Damn it. He's gonna kill you, Ezra, and eat your soft,
He gonna
supple
bite
flesh.
Yes.
He says his goodbyes, heads out the door.
And I'll come back to the table where everybody's sitting. I'm just like super like pumped because that man's basically my father figure. He pulled me off the streets of El Terrell and when I had nothing and took me in.
Charming fellow.
Seems
Do what?
real cool. Not gonna lie.
Seemed pretty cool, yeah.
Actually, and I'll like undo a bit of the lace on my shirt and pull down and show.
Whoa,
Like-
whoa, not on stream, homie.
But I'll
No
show
nips. No nips.
scar that looks like teeth mark, like a wolf bite, which is pretty much right here on my shoulder. Borden did that. When I was accepted into the order, once I earned it, I went through what we call the taming, and Borden was the one that gifted me.
Oh, the gifters.
Yeah, I guess that makes me a bug catcher. But yeah. Anyways, so what are we doing?
Well, I've got 44 gold bars that I need to sell. And also I need a poisoner. And also I need to talk to Eatadin.
Sounds like we got a bunch of downtime activities. As you are breaking your fast and the morning begins, a message arrives, a package arrives, actually, addressed to Ezra from the Order of Magus and Protectors. As you unwrap it, Ezra, you're able to pretty quickly identify from the missive within and the scroll case within. This is the delivery of your scroll of water breathing. Already bought and paid for, so all concerns off the table.
Do I have the material?
Yeah, if you have the material components is a different question. It is the 8th. Let's do this. Who's doing what? What's going on?
So
Fire it
to
off.
the group. To the group.
To the group first.
Fine.
I there is a reason I am doing this because I need your input too.
Mhm.
I have two big things.
Antlions.
Ooh.
One, continue my studies of the levels to learn where everything is to build out our knowledge. Or find out a way to kill the unkillable goblin.
Unkillable goblin.
It's hard to go against that kind of immediate desire.
I need all pertinent information.
His name is Evitz.
One piece of information, yes.
He is tall.
He's a Nilbin. Nilbor. Niglib. Goblin. He's a goblin backwards.
Neilbog.
I don't know what his name is. He's a goblin backwards.
Neilbog.
Yes.
Oh, Bob.
So is that player knowledge or is that?
I don't know. He's a piece of shit.
I'm
He's
pretty
a piece
sure
of
that's
shit.
I'm pretty sure that's player knowledge, not character knowledge. Yeah.
We were told
Okay.
that like he specifically survived.
You were told
Like a
things
fight
about
attack?
him, yeah, but whether or not your characters know, like players, you guys have identified him as a Nilbog. Whether or not your characters have and I'm not super nitpicky about like meta versus player knowledge, etc., or anything like that. So like, it's fine. Like I'm not crazy about it, but it's clear that Jake as Ezra would like to like make this like a research thing instead of just being like, oh yeah, we know what that is. Let's, So I think let's play up to that, right? If at all possible.
That's why I haven't assaulted it yet.
Fuck yeah. I think that's cool.
Okay.
So I have a general theory to go off of for that. I'll make that priority for me, and then if I have time, I will continue my almanac. My I don't know what the right term would be for.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's that's the group concept like
Undermountain.
done. So let's jump into things. Ezra, you're researching for the day, and your first primary research is going to be the Nilbog. Okay. Roll a. We did history in the past, correct? For your ability to. It's basically like a library check, right? So roll history for me. 24 is pretty freaking good. All right, so you have you head to the Font of Knowledge. You do a little bit of research. You find out a couple of different things. Okay. First, you do find out that a Nilbog is basically a blessed of Maglubiet, right? The god, the deity of the goblins, the hobgoblins, right? And Maglubiet is a god of battle. But it's also a race god, right? A species god, okay? There are many different species that have pantheons or multiple gods that they serve, etc., etc. The goblin race is pretty devoted, generally speaking, to Maglubiet, okay? But that's not what you're looking for specifically. But it is what comes up a bunch. So as you kind of like research it, you do find out that you can defeat a Nilbog just through sheer force and effort, right? Their blessings allow them to turn blows to cause harm to heal, right? But it's only so much. A particularly favored Nilbog might be very difficult to overpower, but in theory, it still can be done. However, if you're wanting more like magic bullet style scenarios, or importantly, if you're wanting, what's the word I'm looking for? Subterfuge options, right? There are some other things that you do come upon with your 24. So one is that in and of itself, a symbol of Maglubiet's power can cut through a Nilbog, right? And in your research, you identify Maglubiet's holy weapon as that of a battle axe, right? So if you had a battle axe that was blessed in Maglubiet's name, it would be able to cut down the Nilbog like it was nothing. A single blow would fell the creature. Okay?
Do I know if anyone in our party is proficient with battle axes, Ashes?
Good question.
His name is Ashes, and he
Simple
I
and
don't
martial
think
weapons.
battle axes count as a
If
monk weapon. It's a martial weapon, so if you have martial weapon
I'm proficient with martial weapons.
and I assume Bones, you don't have battle axe.
No.
So that is a theory. And you said there was
I'll-
a subterfuge piece that might.
Yep.
You're working on that? Okay.
So the subterfuge one is
Drown him.
a little more odd.
It's true.
You find in your research, right, that Maglubiet is actually an exarch of Bane. Okay? Meaning that Maglubiet is a god and has its portfolio.
Lesser god. Yeah.
But it serves a role that is subsidiary to the overall role that Bane, the Lord of Hatred, serves. Right? So Maglubiet serves as hatred, but it serves as hatred for the goblin race. Okay? So in that vein, Bane's power trumps Maglubiet's. If a Nilbog were to ingest holy water, basically water blessed by a priest of Bane, it would die. Or if it did not die, its blessing to Maglubiet would be dissolved or overridden,
What I say,
rendering
drown
it
him.
to be
Very
a normal goblin.
Holy
Not-
water.
Not really drowning, that's just poison.
What if we just drown him though? You can't.
Again, we go back to the kind of like, you can, in theory, overpower the thing.
Force of effort, drowning, I think, is included. in
Drowning is a force of effort. Can he turn the damage back on the water?
You could try, figure it out.
So we need more water than we think we should have.
More water than we need. A
So
whole
it's not just
river.
Holy water. It's holy
We
water
know
blessed
where
by
there's a river. We know where there's a river.
Bane.
We do know where there's a river.
Dude, I'm like on board with this drowning idea.
How the-
actually.
How the fuck are we basically gonna find like a Satanist that's blessing water?
I can tell you, I am not Jake. Ezra will not be okay with it, and I have a feeling that Matashtai might not be so keen on the drowning of a goblin.
He's a piece of shit. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
You have this vehement hatred, and it's not. I'm not going to say it's unwarranted, because Evitz is absolutely. Nilbogs, generally speaking, are terrible, terrible creatures. But you have this vehement hatred for this creature that has, in theory, really done you no wrong.
I like my Go Bros, and he's really messing with the dynamic.
Hey, look, if you're doing wrong to innocent people, you're doing wrong to me.
Yeah?
And you
That's
How-
another vote for drowning.
How innocent are the goblins of Tall Market?
Innocent as fuck? What do you mean? They're just like trading shit.
Like, well, I mean, to be fair, like, we were random mass adventurers that came down, and they didn't immediately just attack us in hordes. They were like, hey, come buy our broken silverware that's made of wood.
Remember that goblin that they hang? Or hung?
Yeah, that was a fucking outlier.
Is it hanged or is it hung? I always get, you know.
it's
I think it's.
It's actually
know.
both.
It's
Both
both.
work.
That's what.
Hanged and hung are.
I
both.
think there's specific situations for hanged and for hung. I
It's
think.
hanged.
Is it hanged? Hanged.
No.
Be hanged.
Fuck around.
I don't fucking know.
Okay, so I have my
Yeah.
research.
Okay, so that's
I'm
your
assuming
day.
That much information was
That's your day.
my-
That's your day. Yeah, a research is a research day, so that's your day. Who's next? Who wants to do something today? What's happening on the 8th?
Okay, I
Come
need.
on, come on.
Step 1.
Bones. Step
Directly
1.
outside of the inn, I need to send a runner to the guild to find carvers.
Okay. What are you sending?
Hey,
How much?
it's
you pay?
Bones. I'm here. Set the meeting, please. Thank you.
You give like a day or a time.
They.
Oh,
she
you're
said they would
you're
get
just notifying
the
them of your
together.
availability. Gotcha. Understood.
Please find that the undersigned is hereby available.
How much do you pay this runner?
Shade in the graveyard. I give them 1 gold.
Damn.
Is that too much? I
This
I give them
runner kind of like
1 silver.
oh. So you flash a gold and then you're like, oh no.
Is the gold too
Once-
much? I don't have a
once-
sense of money in this world. I give them 1 gold.
The runner takes it and bites it and gives you wide eyes, takes your missive, and like looks at you like, don't you worry, it's right on time, and he just starts literally running. You've never seen a runner in Waterdeep actually run.
It left
Okay.
the DeLorean fire tracks in his wake.
Yeah.
It's clear to me I've overpaid for this service.
You spend 2 silver to take a carriage for 4 people across the city.
I just picture the telltale moment. Bones will remember this.
I'm like a rich kid. I don't really understand how much things cost. It just does.
Sam Riegel all over again.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, item 2. I'd like to unload my 44 gold bars.
Okay.
Bullion. Sorry.
So
The,
you'll have
group's
to head to
44
the
gold
market
bullion,
in order
sorry.
to do that, or you'll have to head to the Exchequer. Either location can service you, and it'll probably take most of your morning in order to accomplish that. But there's nothing that like stops you. Like they end up having to be weighed and tested to make sure they're authentic and of actual purity. That the carrot
Yeah, that's
is
fine.
acceptable. But in the end, as you find there are no issues found with them, and you are paid. How much do you have?
44 of them.
You are paid 400. Is it? No.
No, it's two.
I
2,000.
thought it was 2,200. That's how much you
It's-
told
yeah.
us.
We could.
Yeah,
actually-
because it's actually. Yep, gotcha. I believe you are
Alright.
correct.
Jacob, please divide 2,200 between us.
Gotcha.
2,200. Good to go. Fantastic. What else are you doing?
Okay. The next thing I would like to do is I would like to seek out a poison master.
A poison master. Okay, so poison masters, you can seek out an alchemist pretty easily.
I would like to do it through the underworld.
But if you're looking for like a poisoner, you're definitely gonna have to look underworldish. So if that is the
I
case,
would like to do it through the underworld.
I need you to roll me an investigation.
Oh lord, he poisoning.
I mean, I got the thieves' cant and shit.
The thieves'
That's
cant
fine.
allows you to contact the underworld. If you didn't
Fair
have the
enough.
thieves' cant,
I am
you
investigating.
wouldn't be doing this. Or the only
Yeah,
way you
people
would
would
be doing
be
this is going
aggravated.
to a tavern and being like, hey, yo, I will pay a thief to, like, go find this short shit for me. And then you're gonna get fucking scammed.
I rolled a 10.
A 10! You spend the better part of the rest of the day.
Okay.
Trying to establish contacts throughout the town. And you're not sure if it's the season or if you're just reading signs wrong or if you're just in the wrong locales, right?
I'm like, what the fuck does the tent mean again?
But you are having a difficult time of things. Eventually, though, you do stumble upon a relatively shady individual, right? Who directs you to another shady individual, who directs you to a third shady individual, who directs you to a kind of a shack, honestly, in the trade ward. And within, you find a noxious kind of environment. There are kind of like dried herbs just hanging about within this very cramped atmosphere. And you find a very old, very haggard, bitter-looking halfling woman.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like, as you kind of like come in and begin talking to her, she kind of like berates you. Who are you? What do you want? Why are you here?
Hello and good day. Salutations.
It's nearly nighttime, and it's a shit day. It's super cold. What do you want?
Okay, so we don't have time for thieves can't. No time for thieves can't. Then got it. Okay. Yes, I have this vial of drider venom. I would like you to make for me the best poison that you can. It really, really hurt when they bit me with this.
Yeah.
I would like to do the biting.
Okay.
I am the one who bites.
I was not prepared. Uno momento. Let me
Neither
let me
was
double
I.
check. Okay, gotcha.
I thought of this 10 minutes ago.
Fair enough. Okay.
Ah, ooh,
Yes. All right. She looks at you and she says, Driders. They're always finicky. Cursed blood, I says. I can do it for you though. Small fee. And like looks left and she looks right, and you're in this room with her, and again there's like these dried herbs just hanging from everywhere. But there's also, you realize, like, as you're in here, there's skulls like amidst some of the herbs. And she kind of like looks
skull
left.
aficionado.
She looks left and right, clearly like looking at these two different skulls, and one skull is it looks relatively human, right? The other skull is larger and it has these two tusks kind of coming up out of it. And she says, Fillmore, raced. What do you think? And she goes quiet for a moment. And then she kind of nods and she says, me too. Alright. We'll do it for you. 100 gold. Take 2 days.
And the efficacy of said poison?
Oh. It'll be pretty rich. What are you hoping to accomplish, actually? Let's verify this real quick to make sure that we're on the same page. What are you looking for?
I want to poison this poisonous as shit.
Give me mechanics.
More poisonous than a regular vial of poison?
I have a vial of concentrated spider venom. I'd like something as good or better than that. Maybe not damage-wise, but save-wise for sure. Concentrated spiders of venom is what I have.
Does it have any numbers associated with that?
A DC 11 Constitution save, 3d6 on a
Okay.
failed, or half as much on a succeed.
Okay.
Less damage is fine for higher Constitution save. If possible, I don't know.
Is this intended for the...
It is.
Okay.
Potentially.
2d10?
I mean, yeah, that sounds fine to me. Are you asking me what it is, or are you asking
No,
me
I'm
what I would be
asking,
fine with?
like, I'm like talking mechanics with you now. 2d10?
With what kind of DC?
Like a 15 or something?
Yeah, that's great. That's fine with me.
I think, let me just verify. 'Cause I already had something in mind, and I think that falls... Yeah. 2d10, DC 15?
Okay, sounds good to me.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah. So she'll like, yeah. And she kind of like describes enough to take down a strong young bull like yourself. Maybe not quite like you.
That would be a strong venom. Okay, then. I hand her... Wait, do I prepay in this establishment? Or do I post-pay?
Definitely pre.
Does that line up with what I know about the underworld? I don't know about the underworld. Bones knows about the underworld.
Yeah. I mean, there's always a risk that you run, right? That if you prepay, you could come back here in 2 days and this shop could not exist, right?
Yeah, it's 100 gold. I'll just kill her.
But there's almost never a scenario where you don't prepay for shady shit.
Okay, that's fine with me. I give her fucking 10 plat.
She's like, oh, honey, it's a pleasure doing business with you.
See you in 2 days.
See you in 2 days.
I give her the cat wink.
All right, great, fantastic. All right, so that's definitely going to eat up the rest of your day, though. Is between rolling low. It's not that the investigation. If you'd rolled lower than a 10, you would not have found a poisoner. But hitting 10, it meets the DC and just means that you took a long time finding it, basically.
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
So that is the end of Bones Day. Is everyone okay to continue for another 10, 15 minutes so we can try to finish Ashes and Matashtai's Day?
Yeah.
I mean,
Ashes
I'll
and
make
Matastai?
it easy. I was just gonna
I was
do
pretty
right-hand
sure
stuff.
you guys were gonna make it easy anyways.
Yeah.
So Ashes, what do you got for the day?
I'll really just head over to Blackstaff Tower, do some gray hand work.
All right, so you head into the Blackstaff's tower and you meet with Hastades, right? And actually, this is interesting. I've been waiting for this. No, Odie. No, sir. No, sir. You stay over there. I'm trying to finish this. You stay over there. So you meet up with Hastades, right? And as you are kind of like discussing things with Hastades absolutely is more than willing to like utilize your services. You hear behind you, well, what you mean, Harold? You telling me you ain't never heard a crocodile roar?
Oh wait, what?
And you turn and you see a Kinku standing behind you that you recognize Crocodile Roar. And Hastades says, you have returned. Good. Actually, my next task would probably use 2 individuals. And so you find out in short order that Crocodile Roar has become an adventurer and has started doing work for the Grey Hands because of y'all's influence.
And
Hell
like,
yeah.
Like,
Hell yeah. I've never been so proud.
and so he's just there, like.
Well, you find out that he's been
there roaring.
working for them for a couple days. Ah, fuck! You asshole! He's climbing behind me to get to the other chair. You could have just walked down, you son of a bitch.
Nah, just maintain the same vertical level.
Fuck. Yeah, so between conversing, right, like in broken phrases with Crocodile Roar and just talking to Hastades, you find out that Crocodile Roar came to them a couple of days ago, and started doing small tasks for them, and slowly but surely has been becoming of aid. He is basically he is now a level 3 rogue.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Rogue life.
Rogue life. But what ends up happening, right, is Hastades sends you and Crocodile Roar out on a couple of different minor tasks together.
All right, cool. I'll catch up with the little son of a bitch. Of course, conversation is going to be real weird, but
Sure. And none of it is too terribly difficult, right? You can still tick up your counter by 0.1, right?
Yep, done. And I'll let Crocodile Roar know that, you know, hey, we've got a place over in Troll Skull. If you want to swing by sometime, we got food.
He seems a little bashful about it, right? Like it is no insight needed, right? It is pretty clear to you that the way he talks and the way he like acts around you and the way he talks about everyone else, that he kind of like looks up to you for, right? That he kind of has been influenced by you. So he has this kind of reverence. So he kind of gets like bashful about the concept of like coming by to the bar. But you made the offer to him, right? And it's clear to you that like he maybe once he gains some confidence, right, he'll be more willing to kind of like once he comes into his own, maybe he'll be more willing to kind of like associate and come to the bar and do things like that.
Right.
It's my own and only.
But that does take the majority of your day.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Matashtai.
I think I'm just gonna go hang out at the Yawning Portal. Some R&R before we do a bunch of guard stuff.
I'm gonna verify this. I'm gonna ask: is no one doing anything about the comatose man in your?
Oh God, I'm so glad because I am now convinced this man's going to erupt in spiders, and I don't want it to happen in our friggin' tavern.
I just wanted to confirm. And please do not feel like you're the one who has to do something, Mitch. Right? You guys can talk about this on the morrow and do something on the 9th, right? If that's what you want to do. I just wanted to confirm and make sure that no one wants to do anything today about it.
I think give him a day to sleep more,
Sure.
and then see how he feels tomorrow.
I will like insist that if tomorrow he doesn't change at all,
Okay.
we take him to somebody who can like
Sounds good.
diagnose him proper.
All right. So then
I do not want our freaking tavern covered in giant baby spiders.
Giant baby spiders everywhere.
Like, I don't know how big, like, you know, newborn giant spiders are. I'm assuming they're like at least tarantula size.
I imagine tarantula size. Yeah, absolutely. Right?
Like adult tarantulas.
So,
how many do you think could fit in like the torso of a man?
Oh, I mean,
Too
quite
many.
a few.
500?
Honestly.
Too many.
Like if they're like all, you know, squinched up, like you can probably
Hundreds.
get a bunch of them.
Okay, so Matashtai, your plan is to head to the Yawning Portal and carouse.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do some carousing.
Fantastic.
crowd.
Okay. While you are there, roll me a persuasion check.
Okay. So good at so many things.
Yep. You're good at that.
So you spend some time, right? Just drinking, listening to stories, telling your own stories, getting into a couple of not like knockdown, drag out fights, but a couple of barroom brawls, etc. You know, that type of thing. Roll me a perception check.
Okay. Go. Perceive.
Okay. During one of the brawls, right? During one of the stupors or the odd moments, you do feel hands, kind of like in your pockets, like on your coin purse, right? But you're able to respond in good enough time to...
I stunned that bitch in the throat.
No, you're able to respond in good enough time to prevent yourself from being pickpocketed, but not enough to actually, like, catch the culprit or anything like that. So, however, you don't make any enemies during your scenario, but you also don't make any new allies during your carousing.
Well, I'm glad I don't have any enemies.
That's not what I said. I said you don't make any.
One guy.
I said you don't make any new enemies.
There's that one guy whose throat I'm just gonna have to chop one day.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, oh what? Oh, you say what? You but
All right. And that is the majority of your day. Assuming that nothing else happens, right? You guys eventually do gather back together. As I said, right, the morning is kind of like this blustery gale of a blizzard, and it kind of makes things difficult for a while. But the afternoon kind of breaks, and the snow dies down, and eventually you reconvene back at the Lifted Spirits, and let me double check and make sure that nothing else happens for that scheduled day. Yep. And sleep for the night. So on the morrow, the next session will begin. We'll pick up session. Go ahead.
Quick and quirk.
Sure.
Could I have spent the 6 hours that evening to scribe?
6 hours?
2 hours per level.
No, absolutely not. You can if you're willing to take a point of exhaustion for the morrow.
No, fuck that.
Okay.
I think it's 2 hours. Let me double check.
Yeah. If it's 6 hours, then absolutely not. That's getting to the point to where it's like almost a full day just to like spend scribing, doing, etc. Right? And you already spent a whole day like researching nilbogs and what to do about them, etc., etc. So if it was like 2 or 4 hours, yeah, sure. But 6 hours is that scenario of it's like, oof, you gonna be fucking dog ass tired tomorrow.
dog ass.
Dog ass.
Dog ass tired tomorrow.
Dog
Yeah,
ass.
it's 2 hours.
It's
per
2
level,
hours per?
So that
Okay.
would be 6 hours.
Yeah.
So that's tomorrow. That's something to do tomorrow,
Sounds good.
or
All right.
or prior to Howl Down.
Yeah.
Is the goal.
I get you. All right, sounds like a plan. Then you guys, have a dinner together. The tavern is lively. There's jaunty music as Anastas kind of like plays and acts for everyone.
Yeah, nasty.
Everything goes pretty well. It's an atmosphere of warmth inside of the cold, blustery winter that is surrounding Waterdeep. And eventually you guys all do end up braving the cold outside, right? Because you still have to do that kind of like dance where you run around outside to the stairs and then go up to the second floor because there's still no like entry to the second floor from the first floor right now. So you go through that whole scenario and eventually you rest, bed down for the evening.
And how's Spider-Man doing?
He's still on the bed, still incoherent, still kind of passed out.
Is there any like weird like? Bleh?
You see no weird lumps, right?
Yeah.
There's no necrosis. There's no outward sign of issue.
Okay.
Not yet.
Not yet. And I think that is where we will pick back up.
Do we get a full rest?
Yeah. You guys, we will full rest, and session 56 will pick up next time on Nightall, the morning of Nightall the 9th is when we will pick up. So just a day before you guys are supposed to report for Howldown.
So hit dice will be maxed, and my wand is fully charged.
Should
Wait,
be.
when are we supposed to report for Howldown?
So you're supposed to report for Howldown on the 10th, and then Howldown actually starts on the 11th.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to like show up.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah.
on the 9th, we have 4 potions of greater healing, and on actual Howldown, we get 8 more.
Matthew, would you like to pay down any of your debt with the money we've earned?
I'll pay down a little bit.
I'll pay down a little bit. Debt? I hope he drags your motherfucking ass later on.
How much
Bones.
would you like to of the 550 gold, 575 gold?
I will
How much
pay
would you like
200 to both of you.
All right then.
Oh my
I
goodness.
do not need the money.
Too
I will
bad.
take
it,
this.
bitch.
Too.
I
Take it,
yeet
bitch.
coins at your face.
And then I take
You
those
find
coins
like
and-
over the next 250 days, Ashes just like puts 1 coin under the door every day.
Just give the 400 to Bones, do you need money? Is that what I'm hearing?
Need
Bones.
is a strong word. With like money, yes.
I give my 200 to Bones towards
Okay, we've made a big dent in it today. 450 out of 3,000. I'm very proud of you.
towards the dance.
450.
Gee, thanks.
He paid me 50 out of his Pie King earning.
Yeah, I did.
Yep.
Gotcha.
For I'm the Pie King.
The Pie King!
Pie for the Pie King.
Pie King.
Peter, 5 fake pies when I got exploding pies.
You cannot
It's
still be.
not
That
my
was
fault.
9 sessions ago. You cannot still be salty about that.
I can
Get
not
outta
hold
here.
a grudge, man.
And-
I have a grudge. You don't know me, son.
All right. That is where we're going to go ahead and end our sessions. We will be back next week, session 56, at the start of the 9th. And my assumption is we will be peeking our heads into some Howldown action. Some trolls, boys. All right. So, we'll see you all then. Bye, everybody.
Hell yeah.
Bye.